In a number of spiritual paths, your deeper questions might find answers in a session in the pastor's study. You're looking for something more, so let's offer you something different. Merry meet, blessed be. I'm Aiden Owenson, and welcome to another session in a very different pastor's study. I want to talk about something that happened to me recently, and it'll happen to you sometime. When it happens, and you don't know when it's going to happen, and you don't know how it's going to happen, but these things happen. I'm at the office, having a very typical day. I had just spoken with Lady Stormy a couple hours before, and the phone rings and the caller ID shows that it's a call from home, so I pick it up and say hi. And it's not my wife. And it's telling me to come home because she's fallen and she can't get up. She wound up with a total hip replacement and she's in rehab now, doing pretty good. But the fact is, it happened. Yeah. These things happen. 10-year-old boy wakes up one morning, time to go to school. He's been through that routine enough. He gets up, he goes into the bathroom, starts washing up. Dad opens the door, says, "Mom's not feeling too well. Why don't you take a day off from going to school and stay over at so-and-so's place, spend the day there?" Well, of course the boy's not going to mind and he's not going to ask too many questions. It's just, let's get going so we don't have to go to school. Later on that day, his dad comes by this friend's house where he spent the day and takes him in the back bedroom to say, "Mommy passed away today." When it happens, you don't know. I was talking to somebody on the phone. This was some years ago. Talking about coming out to visit him. Later that night the phone rings and it's his wife. He's dead. So I do get to go out, but it's to his funeral, not to a visit. What do you do? Well, first off, yeah, I'm looking at notes. I'm looking at notes because this was one that was put together during a very busy week for obvious reasons. And first off, don't worry about God's will, but look at your own. You want something to happen. You need something to happen. Your will is your strongest weapon. Look for doors opening. Encourage outsiders to kindly mind their own business. Beware of so-called acts of faith, and above all, don't doubt. A lot of people mean well. But that doesn't mean that their results are going to be positive, does it? I can tell you right now, you don't need to hear about God's will. Because the will of any god or goddess is going to be our happiness, our well-being, forget anything to the contrary. Not only won't be, it can't be. The will of any god or goddess is going to be for our happiness and well-being. Look to your own will. What have I said about magic? To dare, to will, to know, to be silent. To dare, to will. Which is another reason to have outsiders mind their own business. Please be so kind and to do so. Be nice about it, if they let you be. But they do need to let you mind your own business, and they need to mind theirs. Doubt is probably the worst enemy you have. And your strongest ally is will. Today I saw her stand up without pain. Let me say that again. Today I saw her stand up without pain. Not only is this a big first since her hip broke, she hasn't stood up without pain in a couple of months. I've been nagging the divine with a little formula that I learned from someone that there's a family connection with, who used to tell people, give thanks in advance. And so I would. Thank you for taking away the cause of the pain. Will is your strongest weapon. Will is your strongest weapon. And I'm here to tell you that. Now, I'm going to throw in a couple of extra tips that'll help you. It'll strengthen what you ask for. 1, if you want to make an offer, if you want to talk to the divine and say, do this and I'll do this, well and good. I'm not one of these people I've heard some Christians say, don't make deals with God. Oh, why not? Make an offer. However, be prepared to fulfill it. You want the divine to fulfill what you're asking. Be prepared to fulfill what you're offering. One of my favorite stories along that line is the story of a boy. If I recall right, he told me he was like 13 years old when he did this. And there was something he wanted very badly. And he prayed, as any good young Roman Catholic boy would. And he said, after saying what he wanted, if I have this, I'll become a priest. Well, guess what? He got it. He got what he asked for. Very fortunately, the priesthood was suited for him. Perhaps better than most priests. And he's been very happy as a priest for many years. He was a very active priest when I first crossed paths with him when I was, I think, about 12 or 13 years old. I later knew him in the Air Force, and we've had a few brief contacts since. Great guy. It was just fortunate for him that what he offered was something that he was in a position to give. The other. I grew up in retail. My dad was an executive for a chain of retail stores. It's not really a chain, it was franchises. Each one of them was independently owned. But he was very much into retail, and he passed that on to me. The importance of taking care of the customer. The customer is king, he used to say. The customer is always right, he used to say. And especially, he used to say, never let a regular customer down. Okay, how does that apply to a theology? The divine doesn't let regular customers down, I would hope. Certainly, if you're dealing with the divine, put yourself in the divine's shoes and see how the divine would see you. Are you only calling upon the divine because you want something? Do you ever call on the divine to just say, hi, I'm thinking of you? Do you ever call upon the divine to say thank you? Or are you like some of these human friends that I can think of who, if the phone rings and the caller ID shows that it's their phone number, what happened to them this time? What's their tale of woe today? The point being, be a regular customer. Be a good friend. Be someone who says thanks even when it's just thanks for a ho-hum boring day where nothing particular happened, but hey, I'm here and I got through it, and that's good. That's cool. And thank you, divine, by whatever name somebody wants to call you. So that when it happens, you'll have a way to deal with it. And a door will be open for you. I might, blessed be. Uriel's Gifts and The Secrets in Plain Sight are sponsored by the Temple of Gaia. At Temple of Gaia, we don't train you to our path. We show you how to find and pursue your own path. Above all, we tried to provide a great place to come together and to share. We're located in Collingdale, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia, and wherever cyberspace can be reached. To learn more, visit our website at templeofgaiainc.org or our meeting place in cyberspace at templeofgaia.ning.com. Thank you for coming. Feel free to return at any time. We intend to always have something for you here. Blessed be. This has been a presentation of the Wise Ones Net. Merry part and blessed be.